So I jumped onto Titanfall the other day and I'm like, let me try something new. I'm gonna try a new build here. I'm like, what's something that I don't use a lot, that maybe is kind of bad but kind of good. Started playing with the devotion and I'm like, what can I do to make things a little bit spicier? And I'm like, I know, I'll just hold the trigger down. So I went through this stage where I'm like, okay, let's just hold down the trigger early and then I'll just keep shooting and, hope for the best. I'm like, yeah, this gun's pretty bad. But I'm like, is it the worst gun? And you know what? I don't think so. It has its moments. And then I started changing up the perks. And then I'm like, you know what? What's actually the worst perk in this game? And that kind of led me through this rabbit hole of being like, well, what really is the worst weapon and the worst perk? And I'm not going to get into the worst weapon yet because I think there's actually a lot of candidates for the worst weapon. But when it comes to worst perk, I think I've settled on one. I honestly, it's not wall hang. Wall hang at least lets you do something unique. It lets you hang on to walls. Yeah, you can go back and forth on a wall, but it's different to wall hang because you're not making noise. This perk though, Gun Runner, I think takes a cake. I believe it wins. Because the thing is that the perk is just so bad. From my perspective, I'm like, maybe it has some ups. It lets you run when you're shooting, but look how slow I am. This is as far as I got with a full magazine. Let's just try this the normal way. And the normal way to me to shoot is to be bunny hopping at the same time. And this isn't even with anything fancy. If you chain in some wall runs, if you already happen to have some speed, we can probably even get further. What about the strength that it gives you in its ability to let you strafe while shooting? Well, it's actually not that good because you can't actually do a full strafe left to right because then you lose the ability to actually run. It just turns into a regular strafe, so you really haven't earned anything. I originally tried it with a devotion, at which time I couldn't even actually tell I was running when I was shooting it. I'm like, this is so awkward. I ended up going into my options to put it to auto sprint because I wasn't sure if I was actually sprinting when I was moving because it still just seemed so slow for me to shoot and run at the same time. It didn't make any sense to me at all, and I could barely tell the difference. But why do I think that this perk is the worst? Well, I think for one, again, it doesn't really let you strafe any faster while shooting, it's slow, but it actually discourages you from bunny hopping, which I think is a terrible habit to get into. That's why this perk beats every other out for worst perk in the game. It just so happened that I happened to pair it up when I was using the devotion, which is kind of fun because you already have it shooting and then you can kind of get into position. Like, it worked a few times. I'm not going to say it's completely useless, but the thing is, it's not a habit you would ever want to build. You'd always want to just be bunny hopping or moving and shooting this thing. I just think there's a lot better ways for me to continue to move and shoot than what this perk offers. So to me, this perk is awful. And why is it so not noticeable? Like, does this not seem really slow to you? It seems so slow to me. Yeah, I was onto this funny little kick where I'm like, I'm never gonna stop shooting. This wasn't this game. I tried it on a different one where I just never stopped shooting. I took off Gun Runner because, again, I could barely tell the difference, and I tried extended mags and then quick reload. You know what about this gun is that makes it so bad? I actually find this gun to be worse with an aimer. Even though it's an assault rifle, you do have to aim this down sights. I think it would be fun to run around with this thing off the hip and actually running with it if it worked better while not having to aim down sights. I don't know what this guy was trying to do. But yeah, that's pretty much my whole rant about this perk. I'm pretty sure it's the worst one in this game. I had more effective wall hangs than I did with this perk in the entirety of the day that I used it. What do you guys think? I've used wall hang because people can't hear you when you're just wall hanging. That's the difference between that and just running in the same spot if you don't have the perk. But again, this perk here, it just makes you worse than you would be if you just played regularly. Oh nice, I'm just catching everything right now. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole video, guys. Tell me what you guys think about this perk. Because if you guys think you can make it work, I'd really like to hear about it because honestly, I don't see how it has any merit. I even tried it with a couple different guns. I've seen people run it with an alternator. And I'm like, still, no, you would have, if you killed me with it, I don't think it was because of the perk. Like, sometimes I notice people are running with it, and I'm like, cool, like, alright, you got me with the Gun Runner, but I don't get why you'd ever want to use it. You know what makes more sense to me? If you want to strafe and shoot on the run, use stim. Okay, you know what? I never thought about this. Is there some sort of like synergy between stim and gunrunner? I never actually tried it out. I'm just thinking about it now. Does that make you run and gun faster? Or if you're already using stim, because it does give you the gunrunner perk, as far as I knew it was the equivalent. It's kind of nice when you do a slingshot and you're like, what? You're here already too? Alright, you're quick. But is there a reason that you would be wanting to pair those two up? Does that actually make something better? My aim goes wild here. I actually changed my ADS from 4 to 5. At one point you're going to see me change it because I noticed when I zoom in with my eye it makes it completely wild. Because the devotion is so slow to aim when you ADS it. Like, I was always behind. Hashtag controller problems, right? PC guys are like, don't know what you're talking about. Well, for those of you who do play on console, you may know that there's a huge difference between the ADS speeds between different weapons. Ion, laser core. On regular sensitivity, people can run around you so fast. And it's weird to think that maybe you don't see this as much on console. I don't know what the difference is or how much you'd have to move or how awkward you guys find it. But it's extremely slow. Out of 4, it is extremely slow to turn with Ion. That's why I don't find the core as useful. I'd rather take the extra dash. But long story short, that's how the devotion feels to me. It feels very slow on its like base. Anyways, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you enjoy my stuff, you know, feel free to subscribe. And let's do something live on Twitch very soon. Again, thank you all for watching. Paper, cut to you. And I'll see you all next time.